Hey guys, welcome to the Tea with Nicque. Today's tea is my favorite jasmine tea. I really do need to get some new types of teas. I have like 5. I think I just need to raid all the tea in Target. Either that or Tazo needs to give me like a partnership or something. So I can have all their teas all the time. But it's a beautiful day outside. It is also my last day being 27. Tomorrow is my 28th birthday. And I have been asked to do this topic, and it actually took me quite a while to meditate on because it's something that I think about a lot, and I have so many thoughts about it, so I really had to organize my thoughts. But I'm really excited to do it because I think it's one of the most important talks that I've ever been asked to do. So someone asked me to talk about expectation versus outcome, or realistic outcome. And basically the basis of this is like, just because you don't meet your goals or you didn't meet a goal, it doesn't mean that you fail. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. So this is something that has taken me a long time to learn, and I think having depression and anxiety in a strange way has taught me more about this and about my own human limitations. The first point I want to start off with is the concept of disappointment. Disappointment comes from expectation. We expect things of the world, we expect things of other people, we expect things of our friends, of our parents, and we grow up, a lot of us grow up idealistically in our childhood, thinking that things should be a certain way, that the world should be a certain way. If you work hard enough that you can get, and you can get whatever you want, you can, achieve your dreams, and then if it doesn't come true, then it's completely your fault. You expect that your parents are, they know everything when you're younger, and that they should guide you and be loving to you. You expect that your friends should be there for you all the time. And the thing is, a lot of those expectations are false and not guaranteed. I think a lot of our disappointment and feeling like failures comes from all of these unrealistic expectations that we have out of life, and I don't think that we realize how unrealistic it is until we get older. If you're like me, you grew up with a lot of conventional motivation, like Tony Robbins and stuff, and even stuff like E.T. the hip-hop preacher, which they have some really awesome stuff to say, but a lot of that conventional motivation kind of promotes a little bit of toxic positivity, which is just motivation that's masked as positivity, but honestly, it's really actually self-destructive. Some things that you hear all the time are like, you gotta grind for your goals, kill yourself for success, like you want to succeed more than you want to breathe, like never be satisfied, never be content, and all this shit. And then of course, like the law of attraction, like whatever happens to you is because you attracted it, because of your energy, because of what you put out. And of course, I do believe that people put out energy, but I'll get to that later. But like, what happens to you is like what you've attracted. So basically everything that happens to you in some way is because of your doing or because it's your fault. And then once in a while we get those, those little sayings that tell us that it is kind of okay to fail. Thomas Edison tried and failed 2,000 times before he found before he invented the incandescent light bulb or whatever. Like, you hear that every once in a while. And I think like having this drilled into us creates this false sense of expectation, and it creates a sense of entitlement in all of us. I think when you grow up with that, it creates a sense of entitlement that if I do the right things, if I do what I'm supposed to do, if I follow these rules, if I be what these people say that I'm supposed to be, then I will succeed and I will reach my goal and I will be on top of the world. I'll reach the summit and I will have all this glory. But the reality is that is not how life works. That's not how the world works. And I think we are not taught at a young age how to manage expectations in a healthy way. Expectation management is a value that I learned, a really great value that I learned from my very last boss in the Air Force, who was fantastic. Managing expectations. you know, you need to look at what you can control. The only thing that you can control is you. You can control what you do, you can control what you wear, you can control how you act. You can't even really control your emotions, but you can control how you decide to express them. There's a lot of things about yourself you can control. You can control a lot, but you can't fucking control the world. Like, what you can control in this life and in this world is like so infinitesimally small. And to not take into account every other factor that you cannot possibly account for, of course that's going to lead you to have some unrealistic expectations about success and failure. Like, you know, one of the biggest ways that I learned this is, unfortunately, when I got diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety and depression, and I started struggling with suicidal thoughts, something that I thought that would never happen to me. Another lie that I grew up with is that, you know, if you feel suicidal, then you are a failure. I can tell you now, as a person that believed that before, and someone that has been through those thoughts now, that that is not true. I did everything right. I thought I did everything right when I was younger, you know, like I got good grades in high school. I did everything. Like, I lettered in cross country. I played basketball. I did theater. I did student government. I was an AP scholar. I graduated summa cum laude. I think I broke like records for scholarships for my school. You know, I was like one of the top 5, if not the top cadet in JROTC in the entire city of Houston 2 years in a row. Like, I did everything right. I went to the Air Force Academy, you know, arguably the most prestigious school in the United States. Definitely one of the most, you know, definitely prestigious because it's a military academy, but it's Ivy League equivalent. I did everything right. And then I went to my base and I went active duty, and with a good attitude, and I ran into somebody that was evil and abusive, and they shit on me. They abused me, and it led to me having PTSD. And part of my PTSD is trying to cope with the fact that there's nothing that I could have done to avoid that. There's nothing really negative that I did to attract any of that attention. If anything, wanting to do the right thing sometimes and trying to be a good person attracts bullies. And that's something that you can't control. And so because of all that, I failed. I failed at being an Air Force officer because mentally I was never the same. I was not the same, and I felt like a failure. I felt like I wasn't worth being alive. Because even after all those things happened to me, I still felt like, you know, I've been taught all my life that everything that happens to me is my fault. So I did everything right. Why isn't things going my way? And that's that entitlement. It's that entitlement that can make us feel like these bumps in the road, whether they're small or whether they're extremely large like mine, because PTSD is probably something that I'm going to have to deal with for the next few years or the rest of my life. You know, it's damaging. And that's the thing, like, you can't control the world. You can't control what other people do. You can't control what other people do to you. You can't control the weather. You can't control where people happen to be. There's a lot of things in life that are way more random than traditional motivation has made it seem. Life is an experiment, okay? You can't possibly be ready for life ever. Like, you can't be ready for something unless you've experienced and trained for it before. You have not trained for life unless you believe in reincarnation, and even the avatar can't prepare for their next life. So you cannot prepare for life. We're all just stumbling along trying to figure it out. And so when you are going into a situation where you have no idea what's about to happen, of course you're gonna fucking fail. That's logic. You are going to fail because you are just figuring it out. We're all just figuring it out. And it's really pompous and arrogant to look down on somebody you know, who is just doing their best, and to be able and to tell them that if they're not succeeding, it's completely their fault. Sometimes it is their fault, because sometimes you do hold yourself back, and you need to be wise enough to know when you are holding yourself back. But if you're actively trying to figure it out, please don't feel bad because you're experiencing failure. That is a learning experience. Every failure, whatever your goal is, whether it's to be rich and famous, whether it's to get, you know, a degree, whether it's to, I don't know, like fix your backyard, whatever, like, especially if you don't know what to do and you don't know how to get there, everything is an experiment. Every failure is a learning moment. So every failure, you look at it like, okay, I can gain a piece of knowledge from this, and then move on and then try again. We're all doing that, by the way. And honestly, you know, like the other thing is, like, there are really no rules to how success works for people. Some people hit their big break immediately because they happen to be in the right place in the right time. Some people prepare all their life to meet their goals, and then they never do. You know, like, you can, you know, go to Juilliard or whatever for performing arts so that you can be a performer, and then some kid, you know, off the bus from like Texas to Kansas comes to New York to try and pursue acting, and then they get their big break. And you spent 20 years preparing for this, and you're just like, what the fuck? And you feel entitled to it, right? Because you feel like you did everything that you're supposed to do to get to success. But guess what? There is no rule. There is no rule. Everything is so fucking arbitrary. Just like the lyrics from the song Wait For It from Hamilton, like, life doesn't hesitate, it exhibits no restraint, it takes and it takes and it takes. Like, it makes, there is no, like, life and its randomness, it doesn't differentiate like who deserves what more, honestly. Sometimes things just fucking happen, and that is something that you have to, that's something that I have learned to just, you know, accept. Don't be entitled. Do the best that you can. Make those mistakes, learn from them, you know, plan out as much as you can. But don't feel entitled to something going your way, because the truth is, like, there's a lot of variables in the world that could be working for you or against you. You know, you could go into an audition, and just because of the director, the casting director that happens to be there, that you may not be their choice, or that may not be their, you may not be the image that they have in their mind for the role that you're auditioning for. But in another timeline or reality, you go in and you go in front of another casting director, and they look at you and they're like, that's exactly what I'm picturing. She's got it. You can't control that though, and there's no way for you to know. All you can do is make informed decisions and just go for it. There's a quote from Brooklyn Nine-Nine that Gina Linetti says that has always stuck with me, and I think it is so, so important. She says something like, success is arbitrary, confidence is everything. Which to me means, you know, like, literally anything can happen. Like, you don't know what your road to success is going to look like. And no matter how much you feel like you've prepared or you deserve something more than somebody else, life isn't fair, and all you can do is just strut through and be confident, and even be confident in your failures. Realize when you have failed, use it as a teaching moment, not as an opportunity to beat yourself down and feel like you are a failure. Failing doesn't make you a failure. A scientist running an experiment that continues to fail at what they're trying to achieve, that doesn't make them a failure. That makes them a fucking scientist. That's part of being a goddamn scientist. Part of being a goddamn scientist is failing over and over until you find something and get it right. We are scientists in our own lives, and this is one big ass experiment. So chill the fuck out about it. Another thing about this is, like, and it's kind of cliche, but it's very true. Life, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a long ass marathon. Hopefully, for God willing, for most of us, it is a marathon. A marathon is a measure of endurance, not speed. It's not the same as a 400-meter dash. It's 26.2 miles. And, you know, most people that enter into a marathon, they just want to fucking finish. And, you know, and some people, you know, they train for marathons and they train for speed and they train to break records and everything. But the thing about life, like I said, you can't train for life. And so in this marathon, nobody has trained. Some people might go faster than others because that's naturally how they're born, and maybe they have genetics on their side. Maybe they have some sort of privilege on their side, beauty privilege, white privilege, you know, that very well may be, but we're all running the same race, and it's still not fair, right? Like, it's still not fair that some people will finish or they'll get to some point before you, but it doesn't matter, man, because the way that you were born into this marathon, that's how you were born into this marathon. And all you can do is do the best that you can. Now, the other thing about this being a marathon is that this is 26.2 miles. Now, you can try and sprint 26.2 miles, but you will probably fucking kill yourself. You'll probably fucking kill yourself, and you'll probably be really fucking miserable. 26.2 miles is a long time. So if you're running a marathon, your goal is to, like, keep a steady pace, right? And hopefully you get a buddy to run it with you and be like, hey, you want to talk shit for like 20 miles until we finish this? Hell yeah, bro. You get your headphones in, no doubt. You charge up your phone and your headphones and you listen to music for 26.2 miles. You want to make it something that you can last through, that you can enjoy. If it's somewhere scenic, man, like, enjoy the scenery. Take some time to, like, look around, knowing that you're gonna finish, like, you're gonna get there. But enjoy what's going on around you. It's about endurance, not speed, okay? And that's another thing, like, when it's over, it's over. And the goals that you have, I hope that you reach them. I really hope you do. And I think it's important to have goals. I think it's important to have ambition because we need that edge in us. I believe we've all been put on this earth for specific reasons because of our specific talents, and those talents lead us to pursue different goals. But do not attach 100% of your happiness to achieving those goals, because you need to know, like I said, life is one big experiment. You will fail. And if you attach your happiness to the completion of these goals, or like your ability to reach those goals quickly, you will be miserable all the time. This is something I think that depression has taught me, because there's so much that I can't control, and there's just so much fucked up chemistry going on in my head every day. It's hard for me to wake up every single morning. It really, really, really fucking is. And so I have to figure out how to find happiness in whatever I can. And not only in whatever I can, but I need to find reliable sources of happiness, not fleeting. And so I try to identify the things that I can control or that I can count on the most. Like my husband, like my friends, like I can throw a brunch, I can go watch Netflix, like I can do yoga, I can go run. Like, these are things like that give me serotonin that I can count on. And even like people in your life, you can't really count on that much, because you got to keep that realistic expectation that anyone can walk out on you for any reason at any time. But if they stay in your life, it's because they want to. And that's that element of trust. If you have that element of trust between you and another person, then you can have that faith that you can rely on them, that they are a constant in your life, and they most likely are not going anywhere. So share that happiness with them. Attach that happiness to them, to these things that you can go do on your own that make you happy. Like, I love it when I cut, like, I can't control if my music goes platinum or gold or whatever, but I can cut a record that I love. I can write a song that I love. When I do skits, I can't control if one of them is gonna go completely viral, if it's gonna go over 1 million or not, but I can make skits that make me laugh, that I think are happy, and just see what fucking happens. You know, that makes just posting it and seeing that people enjoy it and laughing, like, that makes me happy. That's something that I can control, and so I do. So I think you should identify what you can count on while you're grinding, so you can keep on cherishing life, because you only get one go round at it. Do you really want to spend this entire life being miserable and being hard on yourself because you keep missing or failing at reaching these goals? when really it doesn't mean anything. Really, it just means that you're just learning. That's all it means. Don't spend your whole life being miserable because you didn't get it right the first time. Like, everybody is running the same race, but it's at a different fucking pace. And you have to make sure that this life is worth living for you, that it is enjoyable for you. At least that's always been my priority. And also, your definition of success will change. At some point, I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. And I was, kind of, for like a semester and a half. And then I kind of realized that maybe being an aeronautical engineer isn't necessarily what I wanted. Maybe it's just something that I wanted to be because it's impressive. Maybe it's something that my dad pushed me to do so that so that I could be like some sort of trophy for him, that I was an aeronautical engineer and a fighter pilot. Which I was like, yeah, being a fighter pilot is cool, but maybe I didn't even want to be that. You know, so you will quit sometimes. I quit that major and I went to poli-sci. You know why? Because with poli-sci, I know that by like the back of my hand, and that with a poli-sci major, I would be able to spend long nights in the theater directing and acting and doing plays for 4 years and enjoying my time at the Air Force Academy instead of killing myself for a goal that I deep down probably didn't even want. You know? You can switch. You're allowed to switch your goals. You're allowed to have self-discovery. And sometimes failure is a great lesson, because sometimes if you fail at something continuously, that might be it, and it's different for everyone, but it might be a message that, you know what, maybe my heart isn't really in this. Like, maybe this isn't what I was meant to do. And of course, you have to listen to your heart and your brain and everything to determine if that's it or if you're just lazy, which is not likely. You know, sometimes it is. People can be fucking lazy, you know. But you're allowed to change, and you're allowed to use those failures as learning moments to be like, you know what, maybe this isn't my thing. Maybe I need to go in a different direction. And if you look into your heart, like, you know what the right direction is. And sometimes we have to fail over and over to turn us back to the course that we probably should be on, because we've been influenced by other people's expectations of us and everything. And so while they might see you being a failure, maybe that's what they see, but what's actually going on with you is like, you're having a moment of self-discovery. You're having a moment of, maybe this isn't what I'm meant to be doing. Maybe I need to change course. And so you do. Fuck how they feel. That ain't their life. It isn't their life. So fuck them, honestly, if they got anything to say about it. They should be worrying about their own lives. Hopefully their lives are as fulfilling as they supposedly want yours to be. They probably aren't, because maybe they are operating under some goals and dreams that were never theirs in the first place, and maybe they feel like they can put that pressure on you. No, sometimes failure is actually self-discovery. And so be keen to that. Be keen to listening to that. You have to have the yin and yang, man. You gotta have the yin and yang, the balance. You gotta be hustling, you've gotta be ambitious, and you've gotta be able to go after shit, and sometimes you gotta be a shark, and sometimes you've gotta be aggressive and competitive, and there's like a thrill in that, you know? Isn't there like such a thrill in that? But also you need to have equally as many moments where you are chill and you are just looking around at the world and being like, wow, what a beautiful day this is. Like, how wonderful it is that I have this little backyard that I can just chill in, that not a lot of people have, but I'm in the New York City area, and that's quite a blessing. Like, to look around and be like, wow, I have really great friends. I have a great husband. I have a dog. Hey guys, let's get together for brunch. I need to chill. Let me take a bubble bath. You need that. You need that balance. It's not all grind. Sometimes it's chilling. Sometimes you're winning, and sometimes it's failing and being like, oh, fuck, man. And then feeling sad about it, and then seeing what you can learn from it, and seeing what that failure is trying to teach you. Honestly, for me, it comes down to the more that you realize you can't control, the more peace you have. So expecting things to go your way the first time, or expecting the goals as you have originally laid it out in your life to go exactly the way you want it, is not realistic, because you can't plan out the future. You have no idea what's going to happen. All you can control is yourself. That is it. You have no idea who you're going to come across in life. You don't know who's going to love you. You don't know who's going to hate you and who's going to break you. You have no idea. So when those moments come and you fall short of what you thought you expected of yourself, you're entitled to be sad. That, you know, that's a valid emotion, but also realize that that doesn't make you a failure. Life is one big experiment that none of us have gone through before, and we're all just scientists trying to figure it out, and we're gonna blow stuff up, and we're gonna mix the wrong ingredients sometimes, and we're gonna make a lot of mistakes and a lot of messes, and messes that you're gonna have to clean up. You're gonna break some beakers. You're gonna do all of that shit. We all are, and anyone that says differently is fucking lying to you. Anyone that is trying to make you feel like less of a person for failing is lying to you and is a piece of shit. Don't believe it. You know, if you're looking at someone on social media, even me, or just anybody, any influencer, and their life looks so put together, just know that it's a fucking lie, because nothing is that put together. Okay, nobody is that put together. We are all lost, okay? We're all lost, all of us. We have no idea what we're doing. And all you can do is do your best, make the best informed decisions that you can. Be nice to people, love people, seek out love, give love, like build a life that you can enjoy, that gives you joy and peace. Peace is the most important thing to me. And that, like I said, that may be because I have PTSD and depression and anxiety and agoraphobia. I am fucked up. But to me, peace is the most important thing. I think that for everyone, peace is the most important thing. It just might take you a little while to realize that. Sometimes it takes something traumatic for you to realize that. But as far as, you know, expectation versus outcome, just know that there's very little that you can control. And just because you have a few failures, it doesn't make you a failure. Just brush yourself up and try again. And don't be afraid to switch course. Don't be afraid to switch what your definition of success is. Success for someone might mean someone might really want to have a child. And then 5 years later, you might be like, I really actually don't want to have a fucking kid. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do that, and you really don't owe an explanation to anybody. And so I hope that resonates with you. It does with me. It helps me for sure, because I am a very ambitious person. I'm a recording artist. I'm a content creator. I'm an actress. I'm trying to make it out here, man. I'm trying to be like Hollywood. I'm trying to be like Broadway. I'm trying to be like, you know, I'm trying to be like, I don't know, Mariah, Beyonce, whatever. Like, I have dreams. I have ambitions. Like, I have, you know, pretty lofty goals that I want to reach. But I also know that it's a journey, and sometimes that shit's gonna happen. It happens one skit at a time, one song at a time. Let me enjoy these little steps. Let me enjoy these little skits, these little steps. And if I slip up, I analyze it like a scientist and be like, okay, is there anything that I could have done differently here? Or was this something that happened because of factors that are completely out of my control? Like, this person was a bitch and really wanted to abuse me and make my life terrible, and so there's nothing I really could have done to avoid that. Is there something that I could have done, you know? Was I being toxic? Did I do something that wasn't very charming, and I need to kind of take a look at myself? Let me use that as a learning moment and possibly apologize to whoever I hurt. We're all just learning. And so as long as you open your mind up to being able to learn from your failures and learn from your mistakes, you're not truly a failure. You're not. And in the same token, it will help to adjust your expectations of life. Realize that the only thing that you can control is yourself. You cannot control the billion trillion things that are going on around you, and you can't control other people. Even the ones that are closest to you and the ones that you think that you know the best, you can't control them. You can only control yourself. And so once you you know, come to grips with that, I think that makes going for your goals so much easier, and I think it makes enjoying life so much easier. So that's what I have to say about expectation versus outcome. I hope you like this video. If there's anything else you would like me to talk about, please let me know. You can either, you know, put it in the comments. I do question and answers on my Instagram story, so you can do it via that. You can also send stuff to my fan mail account. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like what you see. And I'll be doing a few more soon. I'll probably do another one later. I have another one to do because my birthday is tomorrow and I have a special video to film later on. So, thank you so much, guys. This has been The Tea with Nicque. I love you guys. Please stay safe. Please stay happy. Please stay peaceful. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.